name. He is speaking out publicly against Rachel Zegler and blaming her for the film's catastrophic failure at the box office.
Jonah Platt, whose father helped produce the latest Snow White film, had some very harsh words for star Rachel Zegler.
For context, Variety wrote a report recently titled Inside Disney's Snow White Fiasco, beefed up security, and a social media guru for Rachel Zegler. I am in the thick of rehearsals for Romeo plus Juliet, so I'm going to get out of here. Bye for now. The Variety story notes how a couple of minutes after posting this, she replied to her own tweet and wrote, "And always remember, free Palestine."
Variety breaks down how after this tweet went viral, the studio was shocked that she would mix a promo tweet with a political statement. As a result, Mark Platt flew to New York to speak with her in person.
What would you say to those who are just kind of overly critiquing the film at this point? You've worked so hard on it.
I know you can get down across the line here. Hold on.
All right. Congratulations.
According to numerous insider leaks and purported documents currently making the rounds online, this is officially a court battle and no longer just backstage drama. The Evita Revival's producers are suing Rachel Zegler for breach of contract, and the contents of the complaint are nothing short of explosive. Allegations of willful rehearsal disruption, reputational harm, negative public behavior, and even financial repercussions linked to her time on the show.
But it's also really important to me that I share with you not only the really good, exciting moments, but also like the little blips where I just don't feel great. I think that's really important that you see me as a human being, because I think a lot of people don't. So I don't know. I want that disclaimer out.
The people funding the entire production want their money back because Rachel allegedly broke terms that were clearly written in her contract and didn't just walk out of rehearsals or throw props backstage. Additionally, an anonymous source close to the legal team claims that the producers are seeking significant damages for what they are calling a violation of conduct expectations that cost the production sponsors media partnerships and press access, in addition to missed rehearsals and delays.
Studios really need to go back to what they originally did, which was tell your stars to shut up and not say things, because no one is paying to hear your star say offensive things off the screen.
The document, which has not been made public but has been detailed by several insiders, purports to detail a series of warnings given to Rachel in the weeks preceding her dismissal. Missed calls, ignored instructions, and unprofessional behavior were all allegedly recorded internally, and those same notes are currently being used against her.
Rachel Zegler has finally responded to all the Snow White backlash she's been receiving. And you won't believe this, but she allegedly apologized for her rude comments. She said that it was never her intention to come off as ungrateful after those videos started going viral.
Never wanted to come off as me being ungrateful for the opportunities I have.
And even gave a speech saying how playing the role of Snow White is such a big dream for her, and that she's always been a big fan of Disney. However, just a few weeks ago, she was saying nearly the complete opposite.
I was scared of the original cartoon. I think I watched it once and then I never picked it up again.
And even closes off by saying that she's the most grateful person alive, but she just wants to keep it real.
I am the most grateful person alive, but I'm also keeping it real.
And people in the comments had a lot to say. Many thought that she was just saying sorry because news sources lately have been predicting that the movie will not do well in the box office due to her unlikability, as well as others saying that this whole thing was orchestrated by her PR team, and others saying that her switching up is crazy.
Fans initially believed the scandal would end there when leaked rehearsal footage suggested Rachel had been discreetly replaced in the production, and even more recently after a separate leak exposed private director notes calling her a nightmare to work with. However, this changes everything because once lawyers are involved, contracts are quoted, and damages are claimed, this isn't just gossip. It's something much bigger, with reputations, money, and even the possibility that Rachel's actions may have violated the very foundation of her role, according to the alleged lawsuit.
Rachel Zegler is now suing Disney Studios after her bomb of a movie, Snow White. According to reports, she's allegedly pursuing action for wrongful termination, gender discrimination, and defamation. She's claiming that Disney and other studios like Sony, Paramount, and Lionsgate have removed her from projects which she was already contracted for. It is very clear that things with her in the studio are not good right now.
How do we get here? What specifically did Evita do that caused the producers to react this strongly? And is Rachel getting ready to strike back? If even a portion of what is in those records is accurate, this might be a turning point in both Evita's and Rachel's careers. The journey to a courtroom didn't begin with a single incident. Rather, it began years before the lawsuit, when the cracks were already beginning to emerge. Let's examine the timeline.
So I decided to walk to the studio because it's really pretty out. It's only like a 15-minute walk. I haven't been out to walk in a warm place in a really long time, so it kind of feels just like wrong, and I feel like I'm forgetting everything that I...
We must go all the way back to when Rachel Zegler was first announced as the lead in the Evita revival. At the time, producers marketed it as a visionary move that would challenge expectations and bring a new kind of energy to the stage, and fans were told that this version of Evita would challenge expectations and bring a new kind of energy to the stage. However, instead of a triumphant comeback, what transpired was a slow-motion disaster.
And then, because, I mean, you seem to be dominating the world of musicals, you're doing Evita in London, right?
Big Andrew Lloyd Webber fan right over there.
Is that your dad whistling?
Yeah. You guys see Stanley Tucci back there?
That'll be fun, huh?
It's gonna be the best time. It's my West End debut. I'm so excited.
You've done a lot of Broadway.
Yeah, well, yeah, I did Shakespeare for 20 weeks. I'm coming off of that right now.
20 weeks of Shakespeare.
That's a lot.
Do they say, like, the audiences in England are different than the American audience?
I've heard they're more reserved, and I certainly didn't have a very reserved experience on Broadway.
Oh, really?
Yeah, we were in a very, an 800-seat theater in the round, so you really are this close to your audience at times, and I'm with the biggest heartthrob in the...
Rumors began to circulate from rehearsals almost immediately. According to sources, Rachel was having arguments with a creative team, disobeying instructions, and arriving late or not at all. Then, allegedly during a full cast run-through, she lost it and was escorted out by security after yelling at the director in front of everyone.
Do you have a terrible audition experience?
I do. I do have a terrible audition
What is
experience. I was actually, oddly enough, auditioning for a Broadway show of a very famous Broadway musical that was having a revival, and the producers and directors were ordering lunch while I was singing.
What?
It was so
Like,
horrible.
actually, while you were singing a song?
Yeah. I booked West Side Story a week later, though.
Even while leaked practice footage and viral snippets went viral on the internet, the true blow came next. During what appeared to be a closed door or rehearsal, a grainy leaked video showed an entirely different actress playing Rachel's role. This suggested that she was already being replaced, and the producers didn't want the public to know that. Even worse, private director notes surfaced online, calling Rachel combative, disruptive, and toxic to the group's morale. Suddenly, what appeared to be fan speculation turned into insider confirmation, and Rachel abruptly disappeared from the conversation without making an apology, apologizing, or providing an explanation.
Yeah, well, we're busy, of course. Evita opens at the Palladium this summer, so we're collaborating with Jamie Lloyd again following Sunset Boulevard. Well, Rachel was desperate to play Eva Perron. You know, it was her idea, and we saw an audition tape.
However, the story didn't end there. Behind the scenes, the damage was mounting. Sponsors were withdrawing, press coverage grew hostile, and the producers, who had previously been silent, allegedly started gathering all of the incidents, missed rehearsals, and ignored instructions in order to build a case. According to information leaked by someone purportedly close to the production's legal team, the case is now proceeding quickly.
Exclusive! Branding experts warn that Rachel Zegler Backlash could ruin Disney's big-budget Snow White remake and predict executives will be having crisis talks in order to win back fans ahead of the 2024 release. Rachel Zegler has been running amok and talking all about this new role that she will be playing as Snow White and how it has been reimagined.
It's no longer 1937.
And people are pissed, right? Because she's playing this iconic role and she's talking about how the movie is dated.
The cartoon was made 85 years ago. It's extremely dated.
It needs to be redone. Snow White is not going to be
saved by the prince.
And she's in fact going to be a girl boss feminist who don't need no man.
She's not going to be dreaming about true love. She's dreaming about becoming the leader she knows she can be.
I don't think Disney anticipated that it really has a deep and strong emotional place in their childhoods and throughout their lives. And maybe that film from 1937 did not need to be reimagined.
The producers claim that Rachel violated a contract, but what precisely was in that contract? What clauses did she supposedly violate, and how much could she truly lose? What began as backstage drama is now turning into a legal battle. Let's examine the allegations and the reasons why, based on several purported leaks, they are more powerful than anything we have seen thus far. The contract Rachel Zegler signed with the Evita revival was not your typical actor's agreement. It reportedly contained strict performance clauses, behavioral expectations, and, most importantly, a morals clause. Let's break this down. According to the leaked summary of the legal filing, Rachel allegedly violated several terms, including refusing to follow the director's instructions during rehearsals and publicly harming the production's reputation through viral backstage leaks. These clauses are typically found in high-end entertainment contracts and give producers the right to fire or sue a performer if their private or public behavior brings negative attention to the production. Despite repeated efforts to accommodate Ms. Zegler's concerns, her behavior resulted in material delays and reputational harm to the production sponsors and creative team. But it doesn't stop at missed rehearsals. The producer's complaint reportedly quotes. Other allegations include disturbing ensemble cohesion by giving notes to other actors, repeatedly skipping required rehearsals, acting inappropriately by allegedly yelling at staff during a live run-through, and more crucial component of the purported breach, Rachel's offstage conduct, specifically what she said in public before rehearsals even started. Remember her infamous Snow White interview, the one where she criticized the original film and laughed about not needing a prince, according to insiders. That interview resurfaced in early talks with West End marketing teams, some of whom allegedly expressed concern over her media unpredictability. Those concerns were apparently noted in her contract review, and now producers are reportedly pointing to that exact moment as evidence that she was already a PR liability before rehearsals began. And then there's the money Rachel was allegedly paid in advance, possibly as much as 6 figures, to lock in her role and promote the show across press events and previews. But after she was removed from rehearsals and following the viral leaks that shift the production's reputation, producers are reportedly seeking repayment, claiming she didn't fulfill her obligations. The damage is rumored to be in the range of £250,000 to £500,000, not including future financial fallout like lost sponsorship deals and rebooking costs for a new lead. One anonymous source claimed she didn't just walk out, she torched the entire campaign. Now they want it all back. Insiders claim that the producers have call sheets, rehearsal logs, emails, internal notes, receipts, and legal timestamps that demonstrate how things went wrong and how Rachel allegedly disregarded every warning along the way. If those documents ever become public, the story could get worse and become irreparable. But there's still more to it, because Rachel Zegler isn't backing down. In fact, her team is reportedly preparing something of their own. Let's also discuss her rumored countersuit and how she might be reversing the producer's perspective. This lawsuit isn't about ego. Rather, it's about damage, and according to several insiders, Eva's producers believe Rachel Zegler cost them everything. Sources close to the production say that before opening night, what was supposed to be a multi-million-pound revival of one of the most famous musicals in theater history turned into a PR disaster, a rehearsal nightmare, and a media circus. The producers are reportedly done playing nice. One insider detailed a closed-door production meeting where executives reviewed the timeline of everything that had gone wrong, allegedly tracing the show's collapse back to a single name: Zegler. Rachel. 3 significant factors led to the decision to file a lawsuit based on the leak. The cast and crew's morale was destroyed by the widely shared backstage altercation in which Rachel was supposedly hauled out after yelling at the director, leading to numerous walkouts and delays. The leaked practice video, which featured a replacement actress replacing Rachel, made headlines across the world and gave the production a sense of unpredictability. Labeling Rachel a nightmare, combative, and toxic, the leak director writes, "From a business standpoint, these internal remarks were never intended for public consumption, but once they appeared online, the producers lost control of the story. It wasn't just messy, it was also costly. Sponsors reportedly backed out promotional deals. Press access from major media outlets was scaled back, and ticket pre-sales started to decline as audiences began to doubt whether the show would even survive the chaos behind the scenes." Producers allegedly rushed to reorganize rehearsals, replace Rachel without inciting further criticism, and change their entire marketing strategy.